Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live Stream Show, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out, and joining us tonight, Sunday night, on this beautiful November 9th for our live stream show. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Happy Sunday, y'all, and I hope you're ready for a great week. We are excited for another good episode of our Sunday Night Live Stream show, post King of the Beach. Going to talk a little bit about that great event. Also, coming up on our Fishing for Hope food drive. So, super excited about all that. Plus, want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. If you haven't stopped by to see our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, you're missing out. This show is brought to you by our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Great people over there, absolutely killer deals, stuffed to the gills with deals, and just really, really awesome shop. You don't want to miss out. Stop by and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Also, want to make sure we give a shout out to all of our supporters who are watching live with us, a part of our supporters family on YouTube and Facebook. Remember, if you become a Facebook supporters group member, you get access to the private supporters group with some behind the scenes info, some up-to-date communication, plus you get access to that private after show. It's only $4.99 a month. You get access to that private group and a lot more bonus information as well. So make sure you check it out. Only $4.99 a month. Also, of course, want to give a shout out to all of those who are sending super chats on YouTube, and also the different stars on Facebook as well. On YouTube, we had Adam Franklin with the big 5, Richard Blazak with 5, Scott Flynn, appreciate you, Larry White with a big 10. Appreciate all the super chats there on YouTube and on Facebook. Oh, we don't have any stars as of right now, just because we're not really focusing on YouTube or Facebook as much. Remember, a lot of people are watching on YouTube, because if you want a chance to win free fishing trips, you do have to watch. You can watch on Facebook. You can watch on Instagram. You can watch on TikTok. You can watch anywhere we are streaming. But in order to have a chance to win free fishing trips, you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube live stream. Josh put the YouTube stream there in the Facebook comments if you want to join us over there. Jameel Bood, appreciate those that super chat on YouTube as well. So again, you can watch on Facebook, you can watch on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere you want. But if you want a chance to win free trips, you do have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube stream. Also, make sure if you have a question you want answered live during the show, you do have to text us your question. Remember, the phone number will appear on the screen for you guys, and you do have to text that phone number, our main office number, 727-393-1947. You got to text your questions there, because we're streaming on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, multiple different channels. We don't always get to see all the different comments or questions. So if you want your question answered, you want to make sure we don't miss it, you do have to text it to us. William Mitrovic, appreciate the $4 super chat there. Sam Lang with the big $10. First snow. Oh man, that's terrible. Sounds cold. Jorge Gonzalez and Mudhole Tackle, appreciate the super chat there, my brother. Definitely sounds like we're getting some snow action to our friends in the Great White North. Tuesday morning right here, going to be in the 40s, which is our equivalent to snow. We don't get snow, but when it gets in the 40s, it sure feels like it's snowing. Jason Richmond, appreciate the stars on Facebook. Tim Dyke, appreciate the 600 stars on Facebook there. All right, so let's get into the photos and then dive into the weather a little bit. And then after the photos of what we've been catching this past week, the weather of today and what's coming up, then we'll dive into some announcements and then your questions. So remember, if you have a question, make sure you text it to the phone number on the screen so we can cover it tonight. All right, first things first, let's see what we've been catching this past week. Starting inshore, as always, we'll kind of go over what's biting inshore, what's going on inshore, then we'll work our way near shore and offshore. Flounder action has really picked up. Water temperatures have dropped. This right now, we are in spawning season for the flounder, so they are closed until end of November, but we are seeing quite a few flounder being caught, some really good size to them. Hopefully our flounder populations are flourishing and we see more and more of them. Some nice redfish action around the area. Redfish are super thick. So thick, Jeff Reedy's catching them. Just kidding, Jeff. I like the photos. Lots of photos lately. Him and his buddies are on top of the fish for sure. So some cool redfish photos from our offshore fishing friends and our Salt Strong brothers and sisters. Always cool to see bountiful redfish being caught around the area. Virtually everywhere from the upper bay, back bay, all the way out to the mouth of the bay, and even onto the beaches now. We're starting to see the redfish. Still a couple of snook around the pass, but they're getting thinner. A lot of these folks are retreating to the back and upper bay waters to find the snook, and definitely pretty cool to see the snook on the move and being really mobile to our upper bay and back bay waters in those creeks, rivers, bayous. Nice snook action still out there on the beach, but it is pretty much dwindling down. A lot of these fish have moved pretty far back up into the bay at this point, especially with this big cold front we're getting tomorrow. It'll kind of be the final nail in the coffin for any snook on the beach or in the pass. Mackerel around any deep, fast-moving water where bait's present. The mackerel have been thick. Look at the size of that trout. Some big yellowmouth gator trout rolling in. The trout bite always gets fired up as those water temperatures creep down. So long story short, the inshore side of things is heating up. William Mitrovic, appreciate those super chat there on YouTube. We also had Robert Holshauser with appreciate the big 1,000 stars on Facebook. All right, so we covered the inshore side of things. Let's move a little deeper and talk about what we're seeing near shore and offshore. Family fun fishing, definitely a great time right now in between these cold fronts. Today was a great example. We'll talk more about that shortly. The hogfish bite is really going pretty steady for us. Some days are better than the others, but overall we've been seeing some pretty steady hogfish action, doing real well out there on the 5-hour half days, 10-hour all days. But if you want to target the hogfish, really the 10-hour is probably your best bet for sure. We are seeing some of the mangrove snapper mixed in, some keeper red grouper, and some family fun red grouper. The mackerel are thick on the beaches. Offshore, a lot of the mutton lately. Some nice kingfish and red groupers and mangroves in the mix. This was pretty cool. This was a keeper, big old monster Kubera snapper on a recent 39-hour. This was from the Tuesday 39-hour trip. Only had about 20 people going out there, and this happy angler here brought out with him 2 Florida spiny lobsters, and he wanted to use that lobster for bait. It was a big, like, over 1 pound lobster, and he wanted to catch himself a Kubera snapper. He had heard us talking about how Kubera snappers show up in the area around September, October, and kind of hang out around these moon phases. So he came out prepared, backside of the full moon, really right on the full moon, with live lobster. And he talked to Captain James and said, hey, this is what I want to do. And James said, hey, hold on, I'll tell you when to drop the lobster. So he got up on this one piece of bottom. He felt like they had a real good chance at catching a Kubera. Walked downstairs, helped this happy angler rig up that live lobster, or it wasn't a live lobster, rig up that nice, beautiful lobster with a, get this, double snell rig, not a chicken rig. So double snell rig for that quality fish, right? So he put, it was actually a triple snell rig, put 3 circle hooks snelled into that lobster, so that way it's nice and spread out, because those Kubera snapper, they come up and they crush that lobster and then eat it up real fast. So you want to make sure you have a couple hooks in there. Triple snell rig, sent it to bottom. About 15 minutes later, that rod started to bend over and that line started to haul butt. And sure enough, came tight, reeled it up. Beautiful Cubera snapper, so pretty cool. Ashley Werner, appreciate the stars there. Nick Nieves with a big 1,200 stars. Appreciate you, brother. And the Sunshine Skyway Fishing Group for sure. All right, so what else do we get near shore and offshore? A lot of mutton. A lot of mutton. On the midweek, 39. On the weekend, 44. The mutton snapper were consistent. Again, the hogfish, the nearshore mangrove snapper, some nice big mangroves offshore, beautiful muttons offshore, some really solid mutton snapper catches. Some good scamp in the mix, a couple blackfin tunas, some big fat red groupers, some hogfish. I mean, it has been some nice fishing opportunities as of late to get out there and capitalize on some good times and some fun in the sun opportunities. On our private fishing charters, the 12-hour extreme trip has been doing really well. Lots of triggerfish lately out there. So good opportunities all the way around. And the real friends of the birds will always be fishermen. I can't believe we haven't posted that yet. But we're getting around to it. Don't worry. Some nice red grouper action, some good scamp, triggerfish as I mentioned. Look at that. Monster triggerfish. Beautiful, beautiful triggerfish. One of the good eaten fish, in my opinion, is a triggerfish. Right up there with yellowtails, hogfish, the triggerfish action. Real solid. All right, so we talked about what we've been catching. Let's get into the weather a little bit. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, right on our homepage, go to hubbardsmarina.com and click Fishing Trips at the top. Then click Weather Links. That's going to bring you to our marine weather forecast. I like starting in the wind finder forecast area, and I like starting in the 5 and 10 hour forecast area. Look what's happening near shore. And you can very easily and very clearly tell what the situation is. We got a big, bad to the bone nautical cold front coming through tomorrow. Gonna be puffing, windy, and gonna dry out on us. Barometer's gonna tank. But you'll notice it doesn't get super cold very quickly. It takes time. That north wind has to blow. So tomorrow's going to be a little chilly from the wind and be in the lower 60s, which is a little chilly for us in Florida, but not real cold. Tuesday morning, different story. It's going to be probably in the 40s in some of our northern areas. Wind air temperature forecast went up a little bit, only calling for 50. So it was upper 40s. Now it warmed up a few degrees, so only saying 50. But that is going to be cold for us Floridians on Tuesday. Time to break out the jeans, folks, and find the boots, because it's going to be a jeans and boots kind of day on Tuesday for us. Let's go back to the offshore forecast. One interesting thing. So let's see. Offshore, 9 foot. 9 foot tomorrow, Monday. Let's see. Tuesday, still 8.5 foot. It calms down Tuesday night into Wednesday back to 2 foot, but it's going to go from basically 1 foot seas today to 9 foot seas by tomorrow morning or tomorrow mid-afternoon. That means we're going to see an incredible movement of water, a lot of stirred up condition, a lot of sand in that suspended in that water. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see the bait turnover, the fish move. A lot of those patterns get disrupted and renewed. So we should see some pretty good activity on the backside of that front. Just keep in mind that when it gets really rough and windy like that, it takes a while for the near shore shallow stuff to kind of recover. Offshore fishing wise, by Wednesday into Thursday, fishing should be pretty good almost immediately behind that front. Near shore wise, fishing 100, 120 foot, a 9 foot wave is going to really stir up that water and make it dirty and milky for a few days. So it's probably going to take until Thursday, or even Friday for the nearshore fishing to kind of get good again behind that really strong front. So just keep that in mind. If you're trying to pick the best day for fishing, it would have been today, right ahead of this front, or it would be waiting until Wednesday or Thursday if you're offshore fishing, or waiting until Thursday or Friday if you're nearshore fishing, waiting for that water to calm down, clear up, and all that good stuff. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we talked about what's going on as far as the weather. We showed you photos of what we've been catching. Want to make sure we get into some announcements. Big shout out to Stephen Batchelor with those big 500 stars. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, so announcement-wise, first things first, we've got Fishing for Hope coming up. That's our big food drive event. We're really looking forward to it. That's going to be on Saturday, November 22nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're out of state, you don't live around here, but you still want to be involved, we're going to have a donation link coming soon where you'll be able to donate monetarily. If you're local, you can join us at the event and bring your food, frozen turkeys, dried canned food, any other dried prepared food to the event. Again, Saturday, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., North Rome Avenue, the holiday tent of Metropolitan Ministries. You can't miss us. Well, Mike's truck will be out there. My truck will be out there. The boat from Pro Marine will be out there. We'll have a big banner, and Mike and myself and Capt. Bill Miller and some other folks in the fishing industry will be there. Again, that's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, November 22nd. So if you're not local, we'll have a link soon where you can donate monetarily. If you are local and maybe you can't make it to Tampa November 22nd, there is going to be a donation location at Pro Marine over there in Bay Pines. So you can stop by Pro Marine starting tomorrow and drop off dried food. Don't bring frozen turkeys to Pro Marine. Just save those for the day of the event. But you can drop off dried food, canned food to Pro Marine over in Bay Pines. They'll have the boat out front, the banners, and the barrels to collect all the donations. So we're really looking forward to the Fishing for Hope event. Josh is going to drop the link in the chats for us. Make sure you go to that event link. Make sure you click interested or going, even if you don't plan to be interested or going, because it helps us to spread the word and show the event to more people. So definitely click that event link when you have time, and definitely make sure you click interested or going to that event. All right, what else we got here? Calendar 2026 specialty trips. You want to book a red snapper trip next year, a gag grouper trip next year. You want to book a specialty trip Saturday, or no, excuse me, it's not a Saturday. December 1st, which is a Monday. So Monday, December 1st at 11 a.m. is when our 2026 specialty trip schedule will open up for bookings. So keep that in mind. Our 2026 calendars are available now. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com and click shop, hit visit shop, and it will bring you to our calendar, or to our online store. And when you first visit the online store, there'll be a pop-up for the calendar. But since we've already visited, it's not popping up. But you can always search for something as well. But just easily go onto the online store, and you can shop apparel, reels, hats, souvenirs. There's so many different options here for you to peruse and to enjoy. We got so much going on the online store. So make sure you check it out and grab yourself a calendar today. Lots of options for you. Also, want to make sure we remind you guys about the new business. We've got the pirate ship launched this past Monday. So if you're ready for a family fun adventure, you can join us inside John's Pass for our new pirate ship cruise. It's really fun for the whole family, a really special experience. They really make it cool for kids. So the pirate ship is going on. Plus, we got that new red dolphin boat, which is more focused on the eco tour side of things. So maybe you've done a dolphin cruise with us in the past. The Red Boat Dolphin Cruise is a whole new experience, a little bit more on the eco tour side and a little bit more focused on like the genealogy of the dolphins. It's pretty interesting. So definitely worth checking out the new pirate ship adventure, and of course a new option for the old dolphin cruise as well. Plus we do island trips, we have shelling trips, and if you're too busy to go fishing, we've got the Don's Dock Seafood Market as well. So lots of options for you there. Guide Checker is another one, another new business that we got into. So check that out, guidechecker.com. If you're looking for a charter outside of our area, if you're going to North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama, you're looking for a charter outside of our area, guidechecker.com. If you're a fishing guide and you have not applied for a spot on guidechecker.com, you are missing the boat, folks. You are definitely doing yourself a big disservice. Join the team. We've got a VIP list of top tier anglers. Not everybody is accepted, but it's worth applying. If you're a top tier guy, it is, or gal, it is going to help your business succeed thoroughly. All right, with that, let's get into some questions, Josh. See what we got going on. And don't forget, again, make sure you're commenting on YouTube. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. So many people who watch the show aren't subscribed, and it really makes me a kind of a depressed person. We're so close. We have 19,000 and almost 400 subscribers. We're only 600 subscribers away from 20,000. And I want to get there so bad on YouTube. We just passed 180,000 followers on Facebook. We're almost to 27,000 on Instagram, and a little more than 11,000 on TikTok. So we're doing big things, but I really want to get to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So help us reach the milestone. Do your part. Make sure you subscribe. All right, questions. Remember, if you have a question, drop it in a text to the phone number at the bottom of the screen. 727-393-1947 is the phone number to text us your questions, and we'll get that going here in a second. But before we do our first question of the night, it's time to do our first giveaway of the night. See who won some free trips, right? So let's do a 5-hour half day. One lucky winner for the 5-hour half day, brought to you by our friends over there at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Remember, at Hubbard's Marina, we've been fishing the Gulf waters for nearly a century, and we know what tough gear looks like when we see it. That's why we're proud to partner once again with Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Their saltwater tackle and equipment takes the same daily abuse we put them through on our boats, in our seafood market, and out on the water. And they keep delivering. From Seafire reels that stand up to constant rental abuse, to hooks, fluorocarbon, and the leader we trust on all of our trips. Their products perform when it counts. Even in our seafood market, their Cabela's vacuum sealer holds up to daily commercial use. When you fish with us, you're fishing with the same gear we rely on every day. Tested, trusted, and proven by generations of fishermen. Bass Pro Shops and Hubbard's Marina and Cabela's, where great gear meets great fishing. So big shout out to our friends at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's for bringing you our 5-hour half day giveaway. One lucky winner, 2 guests, 5-hour half day goes to, lucky winner is Tim Paul Sr., watching in cold Tennessee. Sounds like the great white north. Y'all need to get out of that snow and come on south. Get yourself a little thawing session out on the beach. It was sunny and mid-80s today. And going to be a little chilly tomorrow, but it's going to warm up fast. It's always so comical to me because people kind of complain about the weather and, oh, it's so cold. Let's see here. So on Fox 13's forecast, so Tuesday morning, coldest morning, they've got it. Josh is pulling it up for us. Do we scroll down and have the graph? Oh, yeah, passed it. That one right there. I like this one. Nice and graphical. Is it going to click? I'll let you click. There you go. So on Tuesday morning, a high or a low of 38 degrees. All right, so that's pretty brutal for us. It's going to be warm, up to 60, so not too bad. But look at Wednesday. Literally going to be sunny in mid-70s. Thursday looks perfect. By Friday, it is cool in the morning in the upper 50s and almost 80 degrees and sunny. Look at that weekend forecast. 60s in the morning, 80s in the afternoon. A little warm in the sun, a little cool in the shade. That is 4 days of pretty much really 5 days of pretty much as good as it gets weather forecasts. I love it. It's a beautiful thing. So yes, it is going to be kind of lame and kind of nautical Monday and Tuesday. Yes, it's going to blow a lot. Yes, it's going to be a little cold for 48 hours, but it's going to be real nice, real dry, and not humid, and gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, first question. Do you know if there is a chance red snapper fishing will open back up for the remainder of the year? Should it? Yes. Would it have? Yes. Is it going to? No. Reason why? The government is shut down. Lame. Super lame reason why, right? So because the government shut down, there's no one working at the federal fisheries to interpret the data and to assimilate the data and QA/QC the data. So the data is there. It is available. You can look at it, but it hasn't been QA/QC'd and it's not ready for management. And it can't be used to inform management. So annoying. So we are not going to see a red snapper season extension because the government shut down. Flip side of that, we could have potentially seen a lane snapper closure. That's not going to happen because there's no one there to count the data. We could have potentially, I doubt it, but there could have potentially been a red grouper closure. I'm not going to see that because, again, no one's there to count the fish. So there's some positives to it, but I would have much rather had another month of red snapper and maybe have a couple weeks of lane snapper closure at the end of the year. So pretty frustrating, but that is the situation. It's pretty funny. Government shutdowns. Still taxing us. They're just not working. Pretty lame. But I digress. Which is better for a 2-speed reel? Spool it all with mono, or could you spool braid and top shot mono for offshore bottom fishing? Depends on you. How long have you been fishing offshore? Are you an expert angler? Braided line can help when you're fishing super deep. If you're only fishing 100, 200 foot, you don't need braid. And really, it just makes things more complicated. You need top shot, you need line-to-line knots. It's got to go through the guides. It kind of slows it down if you get a break off. If you get tangled, it's hard to get it undone if you got braid. If you're a super experienced angler, braid can help because it cuts through the water a little bit better, increases your sensitivity, but because it cuts through the water a little bit better, it does potentially cause more tangles. Unless you're a super experienced angler, you're fishing out away from the boat and you can feel if your line is getting tangled up, then braided line would work for you because you can stay out of the tangles. But it makes it harder to cast, it makes it harder to fish, you got to do the line-to-line knots. And most of the time, these newer, fancier rods, you really don't need the added sensitivity. Even monofilament gives you plenty of sensitivity. So just keep that in mind. So to answer your question, yes, you could use mono backing, braid, and then a mono top shot. Or you could just fill it all the way up with mono. How long is the top shot for a 39-hour trip? Really, the general rule of thumb is about 1/3 of your line in the water should be monofilament or fluorocarbon to act as a shock absorber. So you don't want to drive a truck or a trailer or a car down the road without shocks. Shocks help make that ride a little bit more comfortable. Same with the fish. If you don't have a top shot, you're fishing straight braid to your swivel. You're going to catch less fish. You're going to lose more fish. And a lot of times you're going to have more tangles. And on top of that, you're just going to shake the hook out of a lot of fish because it doesn't have any shock absorbers there. So you want about 1/3 of your line in the water to be monofilament or fluorocarbon. So if you're fishing a 10-hour, that's 20, 25 foot. If you're fishing a 39-hour, that's 30, 35, maybe even 40 foot. It gets shorter if you're more experienced. You need less of it. But still want to kind of keep to that general rule of thumb. 1/3 to 1/4 of your line in the water, for example. What is the best setup for trolling for kingfish on a 10-hour trip? You can always troll on a 5-hour half day, a 39-hour or 44-hour. 10-hour, sometimes we're moving too fast to troll, but sometimes we are not. And I would say a planer and spoon is typically your best bet when trolling within the first 15 to 20 miles from shore. A number 1 planer, a number 2 planer, about 14 to 16 feet of 40 to 60 pound test, and a 6-inch drone spoon or king spoon, which we have in our shop. We have all that stuff in the shop. Are your fishing boats handicap accessible? We are very handicap friendly and completely handicapped inaccessible. So because of U.S. Coast Guard regulations, because these are open ocean certified vessels, we have to have what's called main transverse watertight bulkheads, or MTWBs. We have to have 6-inch raised thresholds. We have to have heavy metal watertight locking doors. Essentially, you could run into a iceberg and puncture a hole in the side of the boat. As long as it's only 1 or 2 different what they call watertight bulkheads that are flooded, the vessel would still make it home just fine. We could have a 6-inch hole or a 6-foot square hole cut in the side of the boat. 6-foot square hole cut in the side of the boat and still make it home. Because of those main transverse watertight bulkheads, heavy metal watertight locking doors, and all these different safety features of the vessel. So the vessels are extremely safe and extremely watertight and buoyant for these different reasons, but it also makes them completely inaccessible to those with disabilities. If you're, for example, restricted to a wheelchair, makes it impossible to get around the vessel. So we're very handicap friendly, but handicap inaccessible. So I always encourage folks to reach out. We can go over your specific situation if you feel comfortable, and we would like to try to work with you and accommodate everybody as best we can. But sometimes there are these roadblocks that we face, but happy to work with you and try to help you out. So call me or email me at info@hubbardsmarina.com, or call me. The phone number's on the screen. My extension is 306. When fishing for mangrove snapper, should I be cranking hard at the first nibble or wait a few seconds until you know the bait has been fully taken? Yes and no. It depends on what bait you're fishing. It depends on how the bite is. It depends on if you're fishing mono or J hooks or circle hooks. It depends on a few different things. But keep in mind, bigger live baits, you got to let that mangrove snapper eat a little bit. Dead baits, you want to almost pull the trigger, as I call it, as soon as possible. But keep in mind, sometimes you're going to miss a few fish. If you're missing fish, you might be using circle hooks. If you're using circle hooks, you kind of got to reel until you feel a little bit of pressure, then reel down tight and fast. Also, you want to be a little slower on the trigger if you got a really high gear ratio reel. If you're fishing a 2-speed reel, you got it in a high speed, you don't want to pull the trigger too fast because you can pull that bait away from them. So a lot of times with mangrove snapper, you kind of get dialed in the trip. You kind of feel the bite. If the bite's hot and they're super aggressive, pop, pop, and they'll grab it. Sometimes the bite's kind of soft and they'll come up, pop, 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 and then they'll grab it, you know. So you kind of got to get into the rhythm and feel it. Feel the vibe, if you will. Read the room. But sometimes they're aggressive, sometimes they're a little softer. In the summertime, like when the weather's beautiful and it's flat, calm out there, sometimes the bite's really slow and just the wind's not really blowing, nothing's really happening, you almost got to entice them to bite. Sometimes they do what's called laying on top of it, and they're literally just kind of hanging out by the bait and not doing anything. And then if you slowly lift up that rod tip after it's been sitting still for a few minutes just to check your bait, and all you do is move that weight a little tiny bit, and that bait moves a little bit on the bottom, they'll turn around and eat it. So sometimes they are lethargic and they're not wanting to feed. Other times when the bite's really hot, you can be a little bit more aggressive, and you have to be a little bit more aggressive before they steal your bait. So to answer your question, yes and no. You got to just get out there and see how it's going. When will the kingfish start to slow down? Probably, potentially after this cold front, we might see some kingfish leave. Water temperatures right now, we can look again. Let's pop over to the website, Josh. Going back to the hubbardsmarina.com website, we're going to hit fishing trips, scroll down to weather links. On our weather links page, you can scroll down to buoys, and let's hit this South Middle Grounds buoy. It'll take us to where we need to be. So South Middle Grounds buoy, water temperature is about 80 degrees. So out there, it's pretty warm still. That explains why we're still seeing some of those mahi-mahi in the offshore waters. So let's click the top here, scroll out, and look at some of these buoys. So we'll first look at the Egmont Key Channel entrance. Water temperature is 74 degrees. Holy moly, that's cold. Cold. So this cold front coming through tomorrow, if it's 74 degrees right here already, that means that cold front tomorrow is going to drop that temperature at least a couple more degrees. And remember, kingfish like it about 72 to 78 degrees. So if it's already 74 and it drops another couple degrees and gets into the 70s, low 70s, we're going to be in a pickle. So right there, this south buoy, it's 78 degrees. So there's some warm water out there still, so they might hang out a little bit while longer. This one, water temp 79. Let's see up to the north. Water temperature 78. So we got 78, 79, 80, 74, 72, or 74 and 76. So there's some warm water rips along our coast. So the kingfish might hang around a little while longer, but one of these big cold fronts roll through here and really shake things up and get things cold, they can disappear pretty fast. So to answer the question, kingfish might be around for another 2 weeks. It might disappear right after this front. At least on the beach, it's probably going to be pretty tough to find them on the beach after this front until water cleans up a little bit and potentially maybe kind of evens out a little bit. We don't know. So just keep that in mind. All right. Thinking about the 12-hour extreme trip, December or January. Which month is better? They're the same, the exact same. December or January, nothing's really going to be different. Because keep in mind, red groupers open right now at the end of the year. So there's nothing different between December and January. Weather's going to be pretty much the same. Essentially, you need to get lucky and get between those cold fronts, either fishing right before a front or a few days after a front once things have had time to calm down and clear up. But the difference between December and January is non-existent. When can we go on the Hubbard site and take a look on what's open, grouper or snapper? Remember, the Hubbard site is not where you go to look what's open, because we don't control what's open. We tell you each week what's open in this show, and we answer your questions. So this show is a great resource, but really fishrules.com or the Fish Rules app is where you want to go. But Josh has it pulled up. It is on our site. If you hit fishing trips, scroll down to fishing trip information, hit fishing rules and regulations, it brings you to the page where you can easily find the Fish Rules app. This is where you want to go. This is where the regulations are. Just make sure in the upper right-hand corner, right here, Florida Gulf State waters, you want to make sure that you hit change location. You want to make sure you're in federal waters. So it's got to say Gulf of America, federal waters. Then you can search and find whatever fish rules you want to search for. You can search for whatever species and see what's open. Or you can just tune into the show and ask. But essentially right now, everything is open except for gag grouper, red snapper, amberjack. So that's going to be the same. January, all right, I digress and I misspoke. January and February, triggerfish are closed. So triggerfish would be closed in January. December, everything would be open. That's open in January except for triggerfish. All right. Are you hiring? We are potentially hiring a captain or a crew for our dolphin tours. Maybe at our seafood market, but not really super actively hiring right now. But if you're interested, you can always stop down and fill out an application. Will the cold front trigger hogfish bite to step up? So we did an interesting dockside chat today and dove deep into that topic. And that will be coming out to our YouTube channel. So make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. I don't know if I've mentioned that tonight. But yes, the cold fronts are essentially low pressure systems. A low pressure system, whether it's a cold front, a tropical storm, a hurricane, they're all low pressure systems. It lowers the barometer. As they approach that fish, they sense that barometer is lowering. They know bad weather is coming. And what did the fish do? So just like you and I, us humans, we know bad weather's coming. What do? We hunker down into our homes, into our structures, into our buddies' homes with 12 packs and a bottle of whiskey, you know. So we hunker down into structure, and the fish do the same thing. They know that low pressure's coming. They head to structure, and they hug the structure and hang out. Once the weather blows through, water calms down and clears up, they kind of peek out of that structure and they start to feed heavily because they haven't eaten for a while when that water was all stirred up and nasty and weather was bad and the barometer was low. So yes, it does concentrate fish on structure. So yes, behind these cold fronts, once the water calms down and clears up, so hog fishing, you're fishing 40, 50, 60 foot of water. Wednesday it's going to calm down, but the water won't be cleared up. So fishing weather will be nice Wednesday, but if you go out there to the offshore waters, 150, 160 foot, Wednesday probably be pretty good right behind that weather because the water's not stirred up out there. But if you go to 40 foot Wednesday and try to catch a hogfish, fishing's going to suck in 40 foot because you're probably going to catch a sheep's head, a catfish, and a trout. That's what we catch in that chocolate milk water behind these big fronts, right behind them. If you wait till Thursday, water should start to clear up. You should have a pretty good shot Thursday on that 40, 50, 60 foot stuff. Friday probably be even a little bit better because that water has had more time to calm down and clear up. So behind the fronts is a little trickier because I can't say with any certainty, is the near shore 40, 50, 60 foot stuff going to be good Wednesday, or it's not going to be good Wednesday. Is it going to get good Thursday? Or is it going to get good Friday? We don't really know with any certainty. Whereas on the flip side of that, you know with certainty right before the front, the fishing's going to be really good. And before the front, it's been a while since the last front, so a lot of times you know right before front, the fishing is best. So Saturday, today, fishing was pretty good right before tomorrow's big front. General question about sharks. If you're at a spot, for instance, fishing for hogfish and you get sharked once or twice, is it better to get up and get out of there and go to a different spot, or does it not matter? Will they eventually leave? No. Leave. If you get sharked once, it's time to go. Sharks are one of those things that hang out, and they're like packs of dogs. If you see one shark, there's more sharks around, and they're not going to just leave. They will literally eat themselves to death. And they're just going to keep eating your fish. So I would strongly recommend if you start seeing sharks, start getting sharked, it's time to move out of the area. If you got a fast boat, go for a 1-2 mile run and get out of that area for sure. I'm thinking about doing a trip Thursday, November 20th, or our charter's full. No, this time of year is super slow. Oh, Thursday, November 20th is not a Thursday. November 22nd is a Saturday, so, oh wait, it would be a Thursday. I am incorrect. So yeah, trips won't be full Thursday, November 20th. It is going to start getting busy around Thanksgiving, though. The week of Thanksgiving is generally pretty busy because we get people coming into town. So Thursday, November 20th, we'll still be pretty slow, but that following week it'll get busy. A lot of times, our slowest time of year starts around end of August, early September, and it's slow September, October, first half of November. Gets busy right around Thanksgiving. Then it slows down. First half of December is pretty slow. That week before and after Christmas is sometimes the busiest weeks of the year if the weather is good. And then it's really slow January, February, and then it starts to pick up around mid-February. Valentine's Day, it starts to pick up slowly, and then March, April, really crazy busy. Slows down a little bit in May, and then June, July, absolutely crazy. And then it slows down again in August. Will one of the big boats be dry docked soon? Yes, it is going to be dry docked come, I don't remember. December 1st at 11 a.m., our 2026 schedule will be out. And it'll be on there. But it's early January. The Florida is going into dry dock for likely replacing both main engines and both generators. So you can only assume how expensive that is going to be. But going to keep them running strong. Let's go ahead and do another giveaway and answer a few more questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, make sure you text it to the phone number at the bottom of the screen. We did a 5-hour half-day giveaway. Let's go ahead and do our 10-hour all-day giveaway. This 10-hour all-day giveaway is brought to you by our friends over at Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant. They hosted the Old Salt's King of the Beach award ceremony today. It was packed with fishermen downstairs in the bar area. Pretty cool. The Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant in Johns Pass is back under the management of the Hubbard's family, the same family that's been serving up the fishing and dining experiences in Madeira Beach for nearly a century. Come rediscover the Friendly Fisherman and taste the difference with the freshest seafood, improved menus, and service you've come to expect from the Hubbard family. Enjoy unbeatable waterfront views, a welcoming atmosphere, and flavors straight from the Gulf. Locals and visitors alike, come see what's new at the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant today. They've got a salmon Florentine special this month that is pretty spectacular. They've also got specialty smoked fish bread that's insane. They do these dynamite shrimp that are, I just don't recommend trying them. They're very addictive. And then we have bacon wrapped scallops that are insane as well. So stop by the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant. You can take your fish, your fresh caught fish from our boat right on over to the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant, and they cook it up fresh for you. Keep in mind, if you go on a trip with us, you get 10% off at the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant as well. So lots of options there. All right, so let's see who won the 10-hour all-day brought to you by the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant. Lucky winner is coming at you now. Jacob Coleman. Congratulations, buddy. You got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address and claim that free trip, brother. All right, so let's see here. Let's get into some more questions. Tim McCardle, Jason Richmond, Stephen Batchelor, appreciate those stars on Facebook. Had a lot of super chats on YouTube. William Mitrovic being the last one, so appreciate that, y'all. Let's get back into some of these questions. How long after the cold front is good for inshore results? Inshore is not my game, and I am by no means an inshore specialist, but inshore you can kind of target different things, right? So on a cold front, when you got that really nasty stirred up water condition, you can target the sheep's head around bridges. Then after a cold front, once that water calms down and starts to get a little bit better, you could get out there, and I would say targeting the redfish, flushing with all the mullet is a good idea behind a cold front. Also, you could get up in the bay and target the snook in the rivers and bayous. So there's a lot of things you can do behind cold fronts inshore. You just have to think like a fish and try to attack those cold weather patterns. But for me, inshore fishing wise around the pass, it would be targeting the sheep's head around the docks, piers, bridges, and jetties behind these cold fronts. Raging Nana, appreciate the super chat there on YouTube. All right, let's see what else we got here. Is it more economical to buy a boat to go offshore or buy a jet ski and do fishing jet ski? I mean, that is a personal question. If it's definitely probably more economical to buy a jet ski, but it's probably not as fishable as a boat would be. But a good offshore boat is going to be very costly, and your definition of good could be objective or subjective, right? But a jet ski, a really nice jet ski, a really high-end fishing jet ski, you're looking at maybe $14,000 to $18,000 brand new. You can get them even cheaper used, but a decent offshore fishing boat's going to cost you at least, I mean, if you're talking brand new, $180,000 to $300,000. And if you're getting a good one of the high-end popular ones, I mean, you're looking for a 27 to 33 foot boat, you're looking at close to $250,000, if not $500,000 for some of the high-end brands. I mean, some of the really good brands like the Contenders, the Freemans, the Front Runners, you're talking about close to $1 million for boats that are not even 40 foot long. It's crazy what prices of boats are nowadays. So kind of a good offshore boat and a fishing jet ski are not even in the same category, because the jet ski is going to be a percent of the cost. So I guess to answer the question, economical approach, jet ski would probably be much cheaper. But you're not going to be able to go offshore in a jet ski very often. It's got to be summertime. That's a good question. I like that one. Hope your weather levels out for the 39-hour on the 28th. Well, it's only the 9th, so we got 21 days to... Or wait, that was bad math. We got 19 days for it to figure that out, so we got plenty of time. Things can change a lot. Will the government shutdown affect any quotas for next year's seasons? No. Just because the quotas won't be changing because the government shut down. But keep in mind, the Gulf Council is a quasi-government entity. They are an advocacy group or an advisement group to NOAA, National Marine Fisheries Service. So Gulf Council is not shut down. So they're still having meetings and still going over things. It just makes that process even more slow and tedious and annoying. So what already takes 2 to 3 years to get things done takes even longer with the government shutdown. Are these the time of year, or are there times of the year that are better than others for the 12-hour night trips? Yes and no. In the summertime, we see more mangrove snapper generally. In the wintertime, we see more large mangrove snapper. Also in the wintertime, a lot of those 12-hour night trips get canceled because of the weather, because we do get a little bit more weather. And the 12-hour night trip really needs some nice weather, because it can be a little tough to mangrove snapper fish at night when you can't see the horizon, right? So it needs to be pretty nice weather for that trip, like our 12-hour extreme trip. So in the cooler months, the winter in Florida, we do cancel more of those trips just because we need nicer weather. Marion County, Florida, Central Florida is on a freeze watch. That doesn't sound fun. Have you noticed fish populations changing over the years? Yeah, some for the better, some for the worse. Like, for example, when I was a kid, we didn't know what red snapper were. I never saw one until I was about 12, 13, 14 years old. Now they're everywhere. Yellowtail snapper, didn't really catch a ton of those. Now they're everywhere. Lane snapper, same thing. So there are species that we see more of nowadays than we did in the past. There's also the flip side of that. I mean, grouper are very cyclical. We'll have really good years, we'll have really bad years. We have boom bust recruitment events. So some species are cyclical, some species are just getting better and better. Some species are pretty much gone. Sea bass, black sea bass, used to get a lot of those when I was a kid. Pretty good size. Don't really see them anymore. It's another one that's virtually disappeared. Amberjack hasn't virtually disappeared, but it's pretty shitty compared to how it was when I was a kid. Kingfish, we've had some pretty tough years of kingfish. It seems like the last year or two has been a little bit better. Cobia is definitely a lot worse than it used to be. Offshore, we used to see pretty regular 70, 80, 90-pound cobias. We don't really see that very often anymore at all. I would say gags are down, but getting better. And they're very, like I said, cyclical. Red grouper is definitely better than a couple of the most recent years. It's kind of on the upswing of its cyclicalness. What's your favorite season to fish around here and why? My favorite time to fish is any day ending in Y, right? I mean, really, anytime you're able to get fishing, you want to get out there and go fishing. If you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. I mean, essentially, all year round is a good year to fish in Florida. The seasonality changes the patterns and kind of changes what we target, especially with fishing seasons and what we're able to be kept kind of spread out through the year. So we fish differently through the year due to that. But it definitely, I would say, my favorite time of year to fish is probably right around now because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. In between these fronts, the fishing is insane, and there's not a lot of people around. We have that transition period in like March, April, May, really April, May, where it's not too cold anymore and it's not too hot yet. The cold fronts are slowing down, but that time of year is busy. There's a lot of people around. It's spring break kind of time, you know. Those transition periods are really, really cool for that reason. In the dead of winter, it's really nice. I mean, we have a lot of times in December or January, we'll have probably a week of 80-degree or 85-degree weather. That is a really good time to fish because all of a sudden we get really nice long stretch of weather. It warms up, the fish get all excited, and patterns kind of break loose. Fish get pumped up for that unexpected change. In the summer, really all summer is awesome too, but it's different because it's so hot, so you're kind of going to fish those patterns. We fish a little deeper. We see some really cool fish. So all year is great. Just keep in mind that different things change throughout the year. Did you just cuss on the live show? I might have. What differentiates a full moon from a regular moon? So just keep in mind a full moon has more light at night. So that means that when you have more light at night, you have generally a better snapper bite at night. Those fish can feed 24 hours. So a lot of times leading up to a full moon, things are real, real good. And then maybe on a full moon, sometimes the day bite's a little bit slower. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for, but a full moon, especially leading up to a full moon, the fish get excited. The outgoing tide bite is really good inshore. So there's some things that change. Just keep in mind, moon phase is only one of like the 30 different variables, and people get really wrapped around the axle talking about and focusing on moon phase when there's water temperature, water turbidity, chlorophyll, thermocline. There's so many other different variables that come into effect and affect whether or not the fish are going to feed. So don't get too wrapped up around the moon phase. Don't let it scare you or talk you out of fishing. Stephen Batchelor, appreciate the stars there on Facebook. Definitely appreciate that. All right, what else we got? We got any other questions, Josh? We're wrapping it up already, huh? Let's see. What do we got coming up? So, reminder, 2026 specialty trip schedule is coming up December 1st at 11 a.m. if you're ready to book some trips. And looking forward to our Regulars Club renewals at the end of November. New Regulars Club members will be able to will be able to sign up starting December 1st as well. So if you're a new member to the Regulars Club, December 1st, we can get you signed up. A general public open schedule December 1st at 11 a.m. And Regulars Club renewals there at the end of November. We will call you when we are ready. Regarding stormwater reservoirs on the Caloosahatchee River, great call on, Mark Snow. If you like the call about water reservoirs and the Southland Water Project, you should join this Saturday. Matt Eidson, the engineer for Phillips, is actually going to join us on the show. So we are going to talk almost the whole time about that water treatment project and reservoir and South Florida water management. So pretty exciting. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the intricacies of the problem down there in South Florida. Is the new mayor going to speed up the dock rebuild? So we don't have a new mayor. Not sure what dock you're talking about. I assume you're talking about the jetty that the previous city manager destroyed. They are looking for a new city manager, but have not hired one. The mayor is the same, Anne Marie Brooks. But she and I have been talking quite a bit, and they are actually holding some city hall meetings or town hall meetings. First one is coming up Saturday, November 15th at 10 a.m. at City Hall, and they're going to be talking about the jetty project because the city's scared because they got a lot of heat. It might have been from me about destroying the jetty. So they don't want to just go out there and fix the jetty without talking to people, because remember what I said. The jetty was damaged at the very end, and it would have been a small, easy fix. It could have been fixed quickly, and it wouldn't have cost the taxpayers very much money. But the city manager, in all his infinite wisdom, decided to destroy the whole thing because he's an asshole. Cussed again on the show. And that's the reason he's gone. And he destroyed the whole thing, and now they have to do a 408 permit. They're talking about like 2 years before they're able to start construction. The first quote came in to replace what was there. It was $2.8 million. Then they got a second quote, and it was better, but it was still $1.6 million. Plus, they have to build it ADA, so there's going to have to be guardrails up. They're going to have to make a lot of silly things. It won't be a fishing jetty anymore. It'll still be a fishing jetty. You'll still be able to get out there and fish on it. Just there's going to be railings around it now, and that's going to be making things a little bit challenging for fishermen, so kind of frustrating. Much like the new piers at Fort DeSoto would be, where they have lower sections of the railing so you could pull up a wheelchair and still fish. But it's going to make things a little bit challenging for people to climb down and land a big fish because it's going to be railings all the way around it. So essentially, they want to talk about it, and that's why they have a town hall meeting scheduled. And again, that's Saturday, November 15th, 10 a.m., and then they also have one Wednesday, November 19th, 6 p.m. Both of those are going to be at City Hall. They're going to be talking about the jetty. Then they're also going to be talking about how they spent $18 million and bought that piece of property, and what do they want to do with it? What should they do with it? So essentially, it's a time for people to give their input and be heard. So pretty interesting. But yeah, definitely a jackwagon move, destroying the jetty. 100%. The definition of jackwagon. If you look it up in the encyclopedia, his picture was right next to it. So annoying. And then the most frustrating part, when he decided to destroy the jetty, it could have been a very small, quick fix. decided to destroy the whole thing because he had a temper tantrum because people kept going over his caution tape. Then he had the audacity, the gall, the stupidity, really, to tell people that, hey, the jetty's under construction. 9 months, 6 to 9 months, we're going to fix that. No. 2 years and almost $2 million of taxpayer dollars to fix it. I'm still angry about it. Can you tell? All right, let's do our 39-hour giveaway. Let's see who won our 39-hour fishing trip. Remember, every Sunday night, if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. Every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, also Real Animals on Facebook as well. So join us every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. for the show. Hopefully we'll see you Saturday, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., North Rome Avenue at the Holiday Tent for Metro Ministries. We'd love to see you at that event, and really looking forward to it. OCC Roadhouse. Remember, they made us do 4th Tuesday of the month over there. 4th Tuesday of this month is going to be like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. 4th Tuesday in December, it's the week of Christmas. So we have unfortunately been forced to go ahead and hold off. We're not going to do OCC Roadhouse in November nor December. We're going to start it back up strong in January. So OCC Roadhouse events are on hold until January. So keep that in mind. But looking forward to getting back to it. So for now, you got to join us for the in-person event over there at Fishing for Hope, Saturday, November 22nd. I think I covered all my other announcements. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And don't forget to come check out the Pirate Ship, the Dolphin Quest, or our new seafood market. We got a lot going on inside John's Pass at Hubbard's Marina, and we need your support. So come out and see us. Join us for a pirate ship cruise or a pile of stone crab or fresh fish from the seafood market, or come out fishing with us. We've got island trips, dolphin trips. We've got a little bit of everything. The Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant, of course, as well. So come join us, and don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Let's see who won our Innovative Pools and Spa 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner, brought to you by our friend at Innovative Pools and Spa, which have been building pools in the Tampa Bay area for over 3 decades, continuing the legacy of their father's company, which was recognized as a top pool builder in the area for 35 years. Plus, they have unparalleled passion for the industry. They have up the bar, continuing to raise the bar in pool construction, design, and features. Call them today at 727-788-1650 or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net for an estimate and see why Innovative Pools and Spa is a top choice for families in our community. So, 39-hour fishing trip, one lucky winner is... Alan Cardell. Congratulations from Tennessee. Again, hopefully you guys are all enjoying the show tonight. Hopefully we'll see you next week for another episode. Supporters After Show kicks off 8:45. So you got about 7 minutes to go grab a refill and join us in the Supporters After Show. Hopefully we'll see you in the Supporters Club for the after show. It's only $4.99 a month. You get access to our private group, private after show, lots of behind-the-scenes info. Join us and come out and see us on the water. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Come out and see us. Have a good night, y'all. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family.